Hi, welcome to Bead Mosaics. I'm Sabrina Frey. Thank you so much for purchasing one of my kits. I'm so excited to get started with you on this. This has been an incredible journey for me, and I love working with beads. I hope that you will too. When you purchase your Bead Mosaic kit, you're going to want to get the toolkit that goes with it. Now, you might already have some of these tools, but they're not jewelry making tools. They are just a little bit different. So if you haven't received your toolkit, take a look at the video that covers the toolkit and see that you have everything that you need. Now, in your Bead Mosaic kit, we have a few different things that are included. Now, this video will cover several different kits that we offer, and so this is kind of a generic video that covers a lot of different things. So you may or may not have some of these elements in your specific kit, but there are certain things that come in all the kits. So this video will cover any kit from levels 1 to 3. There's just a few technical variations that come with each of those kits, and we're going to go ahead and go over that. So the first thing that you're going to get in your toolkit is an instruction sheet. Now, it might be a separate sheet of paper, or it might be printed on the back of the cover, depending on your packaging. But there will be a set of written instructions, so when you're done with this video, you can refer to those instructions as reminders. Then you're going to have a sheet that shows you what your kit looks like when it's completed. This is a full-size kit picture, and it shows you what it looks like. But then also you're going to have a design sheet. Now, that design sheet might be on the back of your cover, or it might be a separate sheet, depending on the kit. But the design sheet is going to tell you exactly where each color goes, what colors are included in your kit, what types of products are included in there, and the tools that you're going to need to create the kit. Now, there's also a link at the bottom of your sheet that will lead you to beadmosaic.com, which is our website. And on that website, there are a lot of tips and tricks to help you make your kit more personalized to you if you're interested in pursuing that. We also sell other kits if you're interested in buying something else and trying a different one when you're done. So another thing that's going to come with every kit is a board, and this is a very stiff MDF board, and it is going to have your design printed on the front. Okay, that's the white part, and we'll go over that. Each design is going to be different, but they will either be printed or etched right onto the front of that board. Then you're going to get a packet of beads. Now, these beads are going to vary based on the kit that you get, but they'll be individually packaged in the right quantities for your particular kit. You are also going to notice that there are a few extra beads in every kit because I want to make sure that you have enough to fill what you need, but there's also not a huge over amount. You also might have a bag of accent beads. Now, these accent beads are going to vary. They might be an eyeball. It might be the head of something. It might be an accent that goes on a wing. It depends on your kit. You might have some bugle beads in there, but any of your specialty beads are going to be in this accent bag, and I will show you how to glue those on as well. Then you're going to have a product called Art Edge in your packet. Now, Art Edge is going to be kind of the basis for this whole technique, and you're going to have two different types of Art Edge. One is a thicker, wider Art Edge, and it's kind of the thickness of a piece of linguine. That's going to be for your outside boards. Then you're going to have a thinner, very, very thinly cut version of your Art Edge. Now, it could come in a plain black color, or it might come in a glitter version as well, depending on which kit you chose. They work exactly the same way. It's just going to be based on whatever kit you purchased. Then you might also have a variation that has loose Art Edge in it versus the stuff on the sheets. It works the same way, no problem either way. Just again, depends on the kit that you received. Then you're going to have a bottle of skinny glue. Now, this is the special glue that I developed to help this technique work and to make things go really fast. Now, if you've had your kit laying around for a while, you're going to want to shake this up really well. This is a glue that you just shake it up like before you get started, and then you're going to shake it up again right before we use it. But there's room in the bottle to do that with, and this is also a refillable bottle. I encourage you to buy the big refills and refill it into the squeeze bottle. It makes it easier to control when you have it in the squeeze bottle. If you have a kit that does not have it in the squeeze bottle, it's in a foil packet, make sure you pour it into a dispensing bottle first. Those foil packets are not meant to be poured on right away. It's a little too much pour for that. But you want to shake it up either way before you get started. Make sure that there's no separation or anything going on in that, because if it's been laying around for a while, it might have done that. Now, these kits are designed to be done and completed in 4 easy steps. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It shouldn't take you more than about, at the most, 4 hours or so of work time. But there is an extended drying time on the glue, so that's where your waiting is going to come in. But I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy this process and make sure you pay attention to some of the tips and tricks that I show you on this video so that you don't stress out about how this is going to work. So the first thing you're going to want to do is do the outside edges of your board. You're going to use that wider art edge product that I showed you that you have, and you're going to cover the outside edges of your board with this product. And this does a few things for you. This is going to allow you, one, to contain all the glue when we pour it in. If you notice when you shook your bottle, that glue is pretty liquidy. Then it's also going to allow you to frame your piece. Now, these are nice pieces of art. I want you to be able to frame them. I want you to hang them on your wall with pride when you're done, or give them as gifts. But by using this product, we are going to be able to put it in a frame. Now, the first tool that you're going to need is your X-Acto knife. You want to make sure that you put a sharp blade on your X-Acto knife and be ready to work. Now, you can use this without a cutting mat, but if you have one laying around, it's great to put it underneath. That way you don't have to worry about cutting your table. So you're just going to cut these when you get to the end of whatever you're working on. One of the important steps to remember when putting your art edge together is that you don't want to leave any gaps in between the product. So when you peel it off, you're going to lay it down, you're going to butt it up against the guy next to it, and you're going to stick it on. Now, it's okay if there are some slight edges showing on this part, on the edges, because that's going to be covered with a frame. Like I said, this product is going to allow you to put it in a regular frame. I try to make sure all the kits are a standard size so that you can buy a regular frame at the store, or you can buy them on our website as well. So once that's stuck down, try not to pull those back up. There's a couple of things with doing that will go wrong, like it might rip the surface off of your board, or you might stretch it too much, and you don't want to do that. So once you have your edges down, then you are going to start putting down your skinny art edge. And the other one is kind of a linguine type of thickness. This is more of a spaghetti or an angel hair pasta. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull it off of the sticky part, the paper, and you're just going to start laying it down, sticky side down, and stick it to your board. Now, if you have a sharp corner like this, you can either use your fingernail to push it down and do a little bend, or you can cut it. Now, once you get to any corner, you want to cut it. Again, butt those things up together at the end and keep laying your lines down as you go. Now, if you have an edge where you want it to be a sharp corner, you want them to meet, then go ahead and cut that at an angle. Now, this product cuts very easily, so you don't have to dig into the board in order to get it to cut. You're going to want to, again, butt those up together. Lay that line down. Now be careful when you're laying down that you don't stretch this product. Now this product likes to stretch. It's easy, it's flexible, it's fun, but it will bounce back and you don't want that to happen. So you're going to want to try not to stretch it. And when you're peeling it off the paper, do it gently so that it doesn't stretch as well. If it does stretch, just give it a few minutes to bounce back before you place it down. So this one doesn't match, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this angle right here on the cutting mat, and then it's going to match up beautifully so that there are no gaps. Now, if this is your first time, don't stress if you don't get that move just right, okay? That does take a lot of practice. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and it does take some practice. Now, If you want to make modifications to your kit, you can. I encourage people to do that. And there is an entire video on things that you can do to modify your kits to make them your own. So if you're brave, I want you to be brave. If you're brave enough, then go ahead and do that. So once your lines are all laid down, we are going to get started with the beads. Now, before you start laying your lines, you're going to want to take a look at what accent beads you have and what they are supposed to look like on your final piece. You don't want to accidentally lay black lines around where an accent piece is going to go. So take a look at that first and make sure you leave those areas blank. Now, what you're going to do when you get started with your beads is you are going to take your touch-up tray, which is this little white tray here, and you're going to use some of your glue. Put a little bit of glue in that touch-up tray. You're going to use your tweezers, and you're going to dip your accent bead into the glue and then place it into place. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. If you want to use just the glue that it came with, you can dip it. If you want it to be a little bit stronger, you can use your own PVA glue to glue them down, and it will dry faster. This is going to take a little bit to dry. But you're going to use your tweezers to take your accent bead, dip it in the glue. You're going to lay it into place, and you're going to let it sit there for a while until it dries. Okay? I would recommend doing all your accent beads at one time, laying them into place, and then leaving it on a flat surface to dry. It's important that it goes on a surface that is not going to be disturbed or bumped. This drying process is going to take a little while. Now, if you want, and you want this to go faster, you can skip the gluing down early process, and you can lay these down when you do your seed beads. That's fine. It's whatever your preference is. It's going to end up being the same either way. The next thing we're going to do is put our seed beads down. And for this, you're going to need your metal scooper and your pouring tray. Okay? So we are going to grab our beads. We are going to pour the beads into this container here. There's plenty of room for it, right? Then you're going to use this scooper. Now, this scooper has a skinny scoop on one side and a wide scoop on the other. And this is just used in different ways. It's a great multi-tool. So what you can do is scoop it up, pour those beads into place, and then you're going to do a tap, tap, tap. Okay? Now, this part is really important. The Art Edge product is the same height as your size 11 seed beads. And the importance of that is that when you tap this down, you want to make sure there's only one layer of beads laying down. If you try to put more beads down, one, they will look sloppy, and we don't want sloppy looking art. But also they will tend to clump together when you put the glue on it. So you want to make sure that you tap them down, just do a little tap, tap, tap. If you put too many in there, you can use your tweezers to pull a few of those babies out, put them back in with your other beads, because you'll probably use them later. Okay, so that's important. You want to make sure that you have that one layer. When you're done, now on some of the more advanced kits, you will need to blend multiple colors together. And it will show on your instruction sheet what that looks like. It will have a symbol like an A plus a B, or, you know, it'll show the two letters. And that's showing you that you need to do one plus the other. So you're going to want to study that sheet and see, is it an even coat? Is it something that graduates into something else? And that's kind of the fun of the different kits, is you're going to learn different techniques that are a little bit more advanced with each level that you use. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the first color in our mix. All right, now I'm going to pour this into here. And if you have a big background, you can use this pouring tool to pour it into place if you want. Gets a little sloppy though. I prefer to use the scooper because you can get it exactly where you want it much more easily. So you're going to put that down, and here I'm going to put two colors together. Okay, so I'm going to evenly spread this out. like that. And then I'm going to take my next color and I am going to blend it with this one equally. So we're going to go like this, and again we're going to pour it in this way. I'm just going to use the back of my scooper to scoop things out very gently, and we're just going to sprinkle them in. Now this, you might be doing this as a partial sprinkle, you might be doing it as a full mix. It just depends on your kit. This is where you're going to want to take a little extra time. Now the patting method is going to work exactly the same way. So we're going to go tap, tap, tap. If some beads decided they wanted to jump ship, then you go ahead and pick those babies up and move them back to where they belong, right? You can also move them into place. And one of my best tips is if you have a little bitty corner where you need to put them like in here, then just go ahead and move those in with your finger and leave the bigger areas for the pouring. Makes it a lot less stressful. So again, tap, 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 tap. Okay, and do you see how there's more green over here than there is over here? That's going to give you a graduated effect. If you need to put more beads in this darker area because you want it to be darker, you can do that. It depends on your kit. It depends on the look that you want. Just go by what's on your design sheet for your guidance on how many beads should go in each area. This is not a precise art form. The beauty of this and the fun part of it is that you don't have to stress over counting beads and placing them one at a time. Okay? But you do have the tools to do whatever's necessary to make it look the way you want it to look. So once you have it looking the way you like it, go ahead and tap it down, make sure you're at that one level. Okay? And then we're going to leave that area. Now, once you're done putting all of the beads into your kit and your form, then we're going to pour the glue on. Now the glue comes last. Okay? I hope you got that from the beginning of this. The glue goes on last. Everything else went on dry. And the beauty of doing it dry is that you have plenty of time to do whatever you need to do, right? You don't want stress. You don't be fighting the glue. But now is the time to add the glue. Now we're going to shake this bottle up again. And this has a great little dispenser on it. It's very secure with the cap. But we are going to drip the glue onto the board. All right? This is not a squirt it, because if you squirt it, you'll move the beads around. You want this to be a slow drip process. And what you want to do is put enough glue in the area so that you can still see the beads underneath the glue. So you want to flood it, but you don't want to over flood it. You want to make sure that you can still see the beads through the glue. That's very important. And you're not going to use all the glue on this the first time. It is okay if glue gets onto the black lines or the colored lines or the glitter lines, whatever lines you have. It is a-okay. Now the next part of this is the hardest part. You have to wait for it to dry. I'm so sorry that this is the hardest part because it is going to take a little while. It's going to take at least 24 hours. If you live in a humid environment, then it could take a lot longer than that. Humid environments in the summer, like North Carolina, the East Coast, they can take 72 hours for this to dry. Now, it doesn't mean you have to wait 72 hours to work with it, but give it at least 24 hours to soak in. But you're not going to want to touch much on it if you live in a high humid environment. Okay, we're going to pretend it's been 24 hours since you started working on this. Now, your work should be pretty dry, but it's not going to look perfect yet. What you're going to find is there are probably some gaps in your areas. When the beads dry, they tend to kind of gravitate toward each other. So you're going to end up with a few little holes, and that's why you have your touch-up tray with all of the colors of your beads in there. And so there's a couple of ways that you can touch this up. One, you can pick it up, dip it in, drop it into place, okay? And you're going to want to fill all of those holes. Now, you can do that without the glue as well. You can just fill them in, but you don't want to put glue and then try to fill it in. Now, my rule of thumb for this is half bead rule. If the hole is larger than half a bead, you want to plug it. If it is smaller than half the size of a bead, don't worry about it. Nobody else is going to see it. So don't worry. Plus, then it starts to look a little bit clumpy. So you don't want it to look too clumpy. What you're going to do after that is you are going to pour your glue on top of the entire thing again. Once all your holes are filled, again, you are going to pour an extra layer of glue on top of it. And you should still have some glue left over when you're done with that process too. But you're going to flood the whole thing just like you did yesterday. You're going to let it sit for 24 hours, and then it's going to be complete. Now, these projects are fun. They're easy. I make them easy. I want you to enjoy yourself. If you want to try another kit and try learning some new techniques, you can try our tree kits. You can try a more advanced difficulty level kit. You can also join us on beadmosaic.com, also the Bead Mosaic Facebook group. We have several thousands who have started doing this craft and this art form, and we have some really incredible projects and ideas. If you have questions, the Bead Mosaic Facebook group is a really good place to go to ask those questions as well. Otherwise, take a look at some of the other videos on this YouTube channel, and I will answer a lot of those questions for you and also show you different ways to expand the types of art that you do with this, showing you how I create a lot of versions of my art. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you'll give another one a try. If you want to buy any of the supplies separately so you can use your beads collection to create your own, we do sell the art edge separately. We sell the glue separately. We sell the boards. We don't sell beads outside of kits, though. Please support your local bead supply store or online retailer to get your beads. And happy beading. I hope you bead brave and keep going with this. Thank you for joining me.